Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast, presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Chris Owens, Vice President of Development for People Working Cooperatively. She and I chat about their work in Northern Kentucky and how a recent grant is impacting the lives of those in need across Greater Cincinnati. On NKY at Work, Dashai Thompson subs in for Nancy Spivey and talks with Amanda Dempsey and Dan Ginn of Northern Kentucky University's Young Scholars Academy. They chat about the program and how employers can tap into this very exciting talent pipeline. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Haran. We have an exciting night of soccer coming up on July 27th. Join us when FC Cincinnati takes on Mexico's Club Deportivo Guadalajara Chivas at TQL Stadium. Our second annual FC Cincinnati Global Experience Night, powered by Fifth Third Bank, includes a ticket to the match plus an exclusive VIP happy hour on the East Plaza of TQL Stadium, along with 2 drink tickets and an all-you-can-eat buffet. You can learn more about this event and register at nkychamber.com/events or nkychamber.com/FCC. Now, let's go meet our members of the week and hear from our sponsors, and Dashai and I will be back with your guests.
CVG Airport is the lowest fare airport in the tri-state region with 54 nonstop flights and direct international service to 7 destinations, including Paris, France, and now home to both DHL's and Amazon's global cargo hubs. The airport is furthering its position as leader in aviation and is deeply committed to being an economic driver for the community. You can learn more and start your next adventure at cvgairport.com.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. FEAM Aero is the largest leading provider of aircraft line maintenance services in the United States. For over 6 decades, Servati has been an iconic family-owned bakery in Greater Cincinnati, with specialties including Bavarian soft pretzels and traditional baked goods. Kynos Aesthetics is an aesthetic medical practice that offers medical-grade skincare services, injectables, and IV vitamin infusions. Established in 2019, Ripple is a stylish wine bar and restaurant in Covington, with a mission to make wine approachable and fun. HomeWatch Caregivers provides personal care services and support for adults of all ages who are recovering, rehabilitating, or recuperating in homes or a facility. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast. Today, we are joined by Chris Owens, VP of Development for People Working Cooperatively. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So tell us about PWC.
Well, PWC, People Working Cooperatively, we've been around for over 48 years, and our mission is to help our low-income neighbors, mainly our seniors, people with disabilities. We serve veterans, families with children, but our mission is to keep these people safe and healthy and independent in their own homes, and we do this by providing essential services such as emergency home repairs, energy conservation services, and accessibility modifications. And we do this using our own employees. So PwC employs the trades. So we have on staff electricians, plumbers, carpenters, HVAC techs, generalists. They're out there every day doing this type of work, again, to stabilize home ownership in our most vulnerable neighborhoods.
Yeah, and that is so important. And you guys serve like a really wide range of people across Northern Kentucky and Greater Cincinnati.
Yes.
So tell us about kind of that scope of work, because you guys are just out in the community every day.
Sure. Well, actually, fun fact, PwC actually started its work in Covington. I think we worked out of a garage on Russell Street back in 1975. So, and we've been in Northern Kentucky since. It's not like we ever left. We've always been here. So, so we are in approximately 5,000 homes throughout our territory, which is about 21 counties in 3 states. So Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. And we do over 9,000 services for those households every year. So, and in addition to our staff, we do have about 3,500 individuals throughout our territory or in our community that volunteer for us as well.
Yeah, and that's great. I know you guys have big volunteer days, and we'll talk about that a little bit more.
Sure.
But right now in Ohio, you guys have a grant that you guys just received, the Farmer Family Foundation grant. So tell us a little bit about that and what that's going to mean for the families that you serve up in Ohio.
Sure. Right. So that was just a wonderful, unexpected opportunity. So what it's going to do is, the foundation actually approached us, and they are very familiar with our work and had supported us in the past, and really believed that our mission aligned with their mission of what they want to use their dollars to support. So we talked about our wait list, and because there's just a great demand for the services that we provide, and just always in need of more resources to be able to help people. So we have waiting lists for sure all across our territory. So their money, they really wanted us to tackle our waiting list in 4 specific counties. So they really concentrated their dollars, not throughout our entire territory, but in a specific 4-county region: Hamilton, Claremont, Butler, and Warren counties. So they want us to help these families. And they said, once you're in that home, if you see something else that really needs to be done, but maybe that's not what was in the work order or whatever, get it done, because they want these homes to be stabilized. They want the homeowners to be healthy and safe and not have to live in conditions that are unsafe and unhealthy for anyone living in that house. So that's wonderful, because PwC, we have so many different funding sources. Yeah. Anywhere from private to corporate to government. And the Farmer Foundation dollars are the best kind of dollars for us because they are very flexible. Other than saying we need the dollar spent in these 4 counties, they're allowing us to go into these homes and do what needs to be done.
Right. Like you said, even expanding that initial scope of work outside that work order, because a lot of people, I'm sure, say, oh, well, this is the thing I really have to get done. But I'm sure they have a laundry list of things that also needs to be checked out.
Well, sometimes the homeowner isn't even focused on something else, because they're just, maybe it's this one thing that is really, maybe it's a leaking toilet, or, they're struggling with their steps to get in and out of their home, but, oh yeah, by the way, my roof has been leaking and my ceiling is caving in, so we do our best with the resources we have to do everything we can, but the Farmer Foundation, frankly, it's going to be transformational, not just for what PwC can do, but for the families that we're able to help.
Yeah, that is incredible. And that is awesome. And I know the hope is, hopefully you guys knock it all the way out of the park with this grant.
Absolutely.
Do some incredible work.
Yes.
And hopefully there could be some turnaround, and maybe you can get a similar type of funding for Northern Kentucky.
Well, and that's the other. So I will tell you that, again, we have been supported by the Farmer Foundation before in the past, and they've always asked us to keep their support anonymous.
Okay.
So this is the first time that they've ever, said, yes, we want to, say it to the mountains that, because that their goal is, they believe that maintaining our low-income housing stock is very important and more affordable than just continuing to build more housing, so they wanted to share, and we've already received some interest from, Northern Kentucky family that is interested in providing some support to help Northern Kentucky families. Because when we met with the foundation, we said, boy, we could really use some dollars in Northern Kentucky.
Right.
And even though they wanted to keep the dollars in Ohio, they are the ones who actually approached, someone in Northern Kentucky and said, hey, would you be interested in helping them?
That's
so
awesome.
We're in conversations, and I hope it comes to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will be looking out for news on that, hopefully, fingers crossed. But you guys just do such great work in, like you said, keeping these families in their homes. Obviously, that is such an important thing to these families and an important thing to our community as
Absolutely. Yes.
well. So for people who want to learn more and want to get involved, what kind of opportunities do you guys have for people looking to get involved?
Sure. The opportunities are vast because, you think about what we do. We go in and we repair homes, and you might be thinking, well, I can't do that. And that's great because I can't either. But so, for instance, this month, the month of June, is our 41st annual Repair Fair event. And so, yes, this particular event, we look for some skilled volunteers because the jobs themselves are more repair focused. However, we do have groups that are less skilled, and sometimes it's just tackling an overgrown yard. We had a group of YPers out, and one of the advantages of employing the trades is they volunteer too on these volunteer days. And so one of our technicians went out on last Saturday and helped this group of young professionals and put a ramp in for an elderly homeowner. And they couldn't have done that just by themselves, but with instruction and guidance, they were able to do it. So it was a great experience for them and a wonderful thing to happen for that homeowner. So that's one event. We have another one in the fall. It's called Prepare Fair. So it's preparing the home for winter, but it's mainly groups that come and rake leaves, and if willing to get up on the ladder, clean out some gutters and do some other like fall chores around the home. And this is a great event for families. We get a lot of schools that participate in this because really if you're able to get outside and rake leaves, that's the extent of the skill level you have to have.
Yes, I've been a part of that one. That one is very available for most people.
Right. So, and it's a great team bonding kind of thing. So that's why I said a lot of families do it, a lot of companies. But outside of these two just big events, we have volunteer opportunities all year round. So we will, if a company or a school or a church calls and says, hey, we want to come out and we want to help, but we can't do it on this day or that day. I mean, we can literally work with you, and whatever day works for you works for us.
Yeah.
And we'll find you a project that suits your team skill level. So, and then outside of direct service to our clients, there's lots of like committee opportunities. So we have some events that if that's your thing, if you like to get involved with events, you can be part of the planning committee. We do have a few committees that are connected to our board. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities.
Yes, and you guys also have a very exciting event that you guys work with Samuel Adams later on in the year. Can you tell us about that as well?
Sure. It's not as late as I hoped because it's like inside 8 weeks here. Right. It's our second annual Boards and Brews. So another opportunity for young professionals is we have an emerging leaders board, and we charge them with creating a new signature event for PwC, and so they did this, and last year it was very successful, and we're excited to partner again with Samuel Adams. So it's a home brewing competition and a cornhole tournament. So actually tonight, we will be judging, not we, we're working in partnership with Sam Adams. So the beers that were submitted for the contest are going to be judged tonight.
That's
Sam
exciting.
Adams. Yeah. So, so August 6th, Sunday, August 6th, from noon to about 5, we will be down at the Sam Adams Cincinnati Tap Room. And so about noon, we will be revealing the winning homebrew, and it will be on tap. And then about 12:30, we will have our cornhole tournament. So we are absolutely inviting everybody to come down. Please, the registration is open for if you want to do the cornhole tournament. You don't have to be a master cornhole player. It's very, it's just fun. It's really a lot of fun. Everyone really enjoyed it last year, and so we really hope to have a bigger turnout. And and it's raising dollars again for PwC's mission. So.
Yeah. So when we're talking about the benefits of the work that you guys are doing for these families, why is this work so important?
Well, it's important on many fronts, and I'll start with the importance to the people that live in the home. So we have come to learn over the last 10 or more years that the work that PwC does is actually impacting, having an impact on the health of the family members. And what I mean by that is, when maintenance of a home is deferred for not just months but even years.
Right.
I'll give an example. There are leaks that are happening. So maybe you have an ongoing leak in your bathroom that is going unaddressed, or could be in your kitchen. So eventually there's mold.
Right.
Okay. And the presence of mold, so it exacerbates people that have breathing issues. So if you have COPD, we've learned that asthma is the number one reason that kids are going to Children's Hospital. And they can be treated for asthma, but then if they go right back into the home, their conditions they just reemerge. So it's so important to address these problems. And, again, we help tremendously with the older population to prevent falls. So we actually do, it's a course called Stepping On, and it's helping to reduce the number of falls that happen in homes. Again, particularly for our elderly population, which for many of them, if they experience a fall, there's severe health risks to them. So that's a big part of what we do. So, we were just going in and fixing and, but really understanding. So we've developed wonderful partnerships with, hospitals and other healthcare entities to really educate and to do more of this type of work. So that's one thing why it's so important for the homeowners. But for the community, it's important because, one, by stabilizing the home, keeping the individuals safe and healthy in the house, it's helping to maintain home ownership in the communities. So it's helping to prevent blight and homelessness, frankly. So that's important, and it's also helping to, if we can help to keep the equity in the home, then that's something that they can pass on to future generations. And again, it just helps with economic stability when people are able to own a home. And, so it benefits the individuals, but the community as a whole. Right. And, we're very passionate about that. And so we appreciate opportunities like this to share our mission and hopefully educate people a little bit. And and so, we want to do that in all of the communities that we work in, and, especially Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, and you mentioned Northern Kentucky. You guys do have a wait list, and you're trying to impact these homes.
Right.
So tell us a bit about, what you guys are doing in Northern Kentucky and all that work.
Sure. So we do have some wonderful supporters in Northern Kentucky, and, we can do our accessibility modifications. We do a lot of energy conservation work in this area, but we have right now upwards of 600 households that are waiting for our services in Northern Kentucky. And frankly, it's probably more than that. I think over the years, because of our limited resources for this community, we aren't able to get to as many of the requested services as we'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, maybe people aren't even calling us because, they know that we're not able to get to them as soon as, they need us. So that's something that we're trying to remedy. And again, we have the capacity. We've been doing this for 48 years. We have an excellent business model. It's why we're able to be in thousands of homes. We believe that employing the trades is really how you help the most people. We're in the midst of, we've developed a workforce development program and, cross-training our tradespeople so that we can be efficient when we're in the homes and tackling as much as we can. So, again, donations are key.
Yeah, well, that is so awesome. And Chris, thank you for coming on the podcast today. Before I let you go,
Sure.
So I'm sure you have a busy day. Is there anything else that you want to share about the work that People Working Cooperatively is doing in the community, or anything else our listeners and viewers need to know?
Well, I would just say that, speaking specifically for the Northern Kentucky community, I live in Northern Kentucky, and I just see all the fantastic things that are happening in this community, which is awesome. But I do know that we're not able to get to as many Northern Kentucky homeowners that need our services as we are across the river. And really, I'm here to just say that we need the community's support. And so donations are always welcome. We could always use more volunteers. So just knowing that that we're here. We've always been here, and we're never going away. But there are neighbors that you may not even know it that need your support. So so private donations, corporate donations, even government donations are much needed, and we will absolutely put them to good use.
Yeah. Well, Chris, thank you so much once again for being on the podcast. I appreciate your time.
Oh, you're welcome, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Hello, I'm Dashai at NKY Work with Amanda Dempsey and Dan Ginn with Northern Kentucky University's Young Scholars Academy. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. So my name is Amanda Dempsey. I'm the Regional Director of the Young Scholars Academy. I'm based at NKU, and I work primarily with our partner districts, our parents, and our high school partners.
Hi everyone, my name is Dan Ginn. I'm the NKU Director of Young Scholars Academy, also based on campus there with Amanda and our two colleagues. And I work primarily with faculty, staff, and units across campus to coordinate the program.
Tell us about Northern Kentucky's Youth Scholar Academy.
So the Young Scholars Academy started back in 2020. So it was initially a partnership between the Kenton County School District and Northern Kentucky University. And it actually piloted right in the middle of COVID. Wow. So our first cohort of students came to campus right at the height of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So the first time they got off the bus, they literally, it was like, hello, welcome to campus, welcome to college.
Welcome.
So they had some additional challenges. They had masks, they had all of those types of pieces. So that was our first cohort of students. Okay. We served juniors and seniors. Full-time college students. They take a full course load with us at NKU. Mm-hmm. So they remain students at their high school. Their diploma comes from their high school. They do extracurricular activities at their high school, but they are bused or can drive to campus every day and do a full course load with us. And so we're fully immersive for 2 years. They spend their junior and senior year with us. So that initial cohort has now graduated. They're the first cohort that we saw all the way through, and they were highly successful. So based on their success, we went through a pretty major expansion last summer, and now we are a regional program. So we serve districts throughout the Northern Kentucky area. Yeah. So we have a total of 11 schools throughout the region. Okay. So pretty substantial growth.
Yeah, congratulations on the expansion. That's huge. So tell us about the partnership and what partners are involved in it all.
Yeah, so as Amanda mentioned, we have 11 partner schools, so Kenton County, of course, being the first. And then we have partners, it stretches all the way to Pendleton County. Mm-hmm. So we have Pendleton County, Bracken County, we have Erlanger-Ellesmere District, we have Ludlow, we have Holmes, Covington, Bellevue, Dayton, Newport, I think that's everyone.
Yeah, so we're coordinated through NKCES, which is the cooperative for education in Northern Kentucky. So they're our kind of host entity, and we are really a partnership between the districts, and NKCES. So we have a 4-person team representing all those entities, but we're all based at NKU full time, and so we're lucky enough to spend a lot of time with students face to face, and it's kind of that on-campus bridging piece between high school and college. So they get a little bit of, I work on the K-12 side, they get a little bit of the K-12 support in terms of connections back to their high school. Dan's kind of part of the house is more on the NKU side. And then we have a lot of overlap. So we both teach classes, we both serve as advisors. We're both on campus full time, and then we have 2 coordinators who are awesome, but we couldn't fit 4 chairs around the table that help as well.
You guys wear a lot of many hats, but those hats that you wear are really impactful. So that's pretty big jobs in the many different areas that you're doing. So my next question is, who does this program serve, and what is the outcome for the students?
Absolutely. So we really want to target demographics of students who may or may not have experiences with higher education. So there's a strong push for students to be first-generation college students, or perhaps students that may not otherwise see themselves in a college-going culture. So when you think about levels of support, we want to help bridge that gap between when a student's be able to try out and say, I've tried out college, I can do it. I can do it with the support of my family and my high school and the people here. We're not limited to that population. We have tons of high achieving students. We have tons of students who are not first generation college students. It is a great introduction to college, and the data shows that traditionally all students struggle with that transition.
Yes.
So there's certainly a role for everyone with NYSA, but I think our particular passion project are those first generation students who might otherwise be underserved.
That's remarkable because as a first gen, stepping into the college world, it can be pretty overwhelming. And to have that type of program and support around them, I think they're going to walk in with a whole different perspective than if another student walked in and they never had this opportunity that you guys are giving. My next question is, how does an early college pipeline benefit our economy?
Yeah, so in so many ways, as we think about the fact that this opens up doors for students, I tend to think of it as this isn't just opening up a door for some students. For some students, we're building the door. We're creating this doorway for them to go through that they may not otherwise have had. And so I think it's really impactful in that way, and especially as they think long-term about their careers and intergenerational changes within their families. Right. And so for some of these students, they're able to come in and they're able to start exploring their interests. Some come in very exploratory, which is great. They can, with their 15, 16, trying to figure out what they want to do. So that's great. They explore those interests. They figure out kind of what those passions are, identify their passions, and then develop their skill sets, which is great for the local economy because then students are coming into the workforce even more ready, more aware of what they really find interesting, what they really hope to contribute to society. And they're entering the workforce much earlier than maybe their counterparts and their peers they went to high schools with. So many of our students will go through YSA. Some will even finish with an associate's degree. So they're graduating high school with this credential that maybe their peers wouldn't have. And so they're ready to enter the workforce maybe even sooner, maybe alongside they're finishing up their bachelor's degree. But even if not, they're finishing with upwards of 60 college credits. They already have a lot of skill sets and a lot of maturity that they've developed. And so they're able to go into internships with a different perspective and a renewed kind of sense of excitement and motivation.
In a real world ready.
Exactly. Yeah. So they have those skill sets that they're even more prepared with, even as they continue on with their bachelor's degree, maybe 2 or 3 more years to earn that. Right. And they're still entering that workforce much younger than maybe other students. So, employers, businesses in the area that want to engage with this group, it's a great group to start engaging with early. Because they're excited, they're motivated, we have so much fun getting to learn about them and see all their passions really come through and grow as they come with us for those 2 years. And so getting to help them connect with the community and find their place in society, I think is one way that is meaningful for us, but also contributes to the economy a lot.
Would this fall under, people say it's a dual credit?
Yes.
Okay, dual credit program. So these students get real-world experiences in this program. What are some things that you feel will get them ready for the real world because of this program?
So we talk a lot about time management. So think about your own college experience. Now think about doing it a couple years earlier. So sometimes it's as simple as, how do you juggle your time? How do you plan on a calendar? And then we also get into the really logistical side of things. And so what does it take to earn a degree? What is a prerequisite course?
Right.
What is a placement exam? What is the abbreviation R? What do you mean that means Thursday? I mean, these are really regular conversations that we're having with students, and we have the conversation a lot of college isn't necessarily hard because of the academics. College is hard if you don't understand the structures that you're being a part of.
Right.
So I think part of that skill set is learning those structures. And so you can't play the game if you don't know the rules. And so having that experience is really helpful. And I think that carries over into the workforce. Mm-hmm. So all of those skills we want them to have as self-motivating students then carry over into the workforce. And we talk a lot about utilizing your resources, utilizing support. Yeah. And so our narrative to students is very much, we will do whatever we can do to help you. But when you bring me a problem, I also want you to tell me, what have you done yourself so far to solve it? Right. So what resources are available to you? What have you done already? Where are we in the scope of this problem? Because if it's something that you can figure out, I want you to go work on figuring that out. And that's going to serve them better in the long run. And sometimes they get to that point where they can't figure it out. And that's where we can step in and help navigate that. Really the collaboration that we have with families, I think, is really important. So that's a unique piece to this program. A big part of my role is being able to work with high schools and parents and helping them navigate these new waters sometimes and, watch their student do these things. And so that can be really impactful as well.
And that's great. That's speaking volumes for parents. As a parent myself, if I knew that my child was in a program like this, I would feel very comfortable because I know what the world is like. And I know they're going to be going through those types of issues. But if they have something like that and a program to support them and keep them aware and building them for their readiness, it makes me feel so much better for them moving forward with their future. So I like what you said too. If you can't play the game if you don't know the rules. So I think that's y'all t-shirt logo and probably right there. That's great.
Completely. So I was a first generation student. So thinking about like financial aid, thinking about all of those pieces, I tend to be very open with that information. Like I was like, look, I knew I was not going to college if my FAFSA wasn't done. And these pieces were like, I have been sitting in those shoes. Let's talk about how to figure this piece out.
All of us have.
Yeah, exactly. So.
We know. And the last question is, how can chamber members get involved with YSA?
Yeah, there's many ways. So we are happy to support any sort of involvement with our students because we're so excited to help them learn and grow in any way that they can. And so specifically, if any sort of chamber member wanted to be involved, even if it meant coming in for a smaller type of opportunity, like presenting to a group of students and kind of engaging with them on a one-off, or even a more involved opportunity like an internship type of thing, any type of involvement, we're happy to find a way to make it work because we know that there are the needs within our community that our students could benefit from. So if any employer or any business within North Kentucky had either a goal that they wanted to meet or a need within their unit, we know that we could find a student that would fit in based on our students' interests, our students' goals. We know that they're eager to get engaged with the community. They're eager to learn and grow, and they're all just so excited to get involved in any way they can. So being able to reach out to us would be a great first step. And we have given you all our contact information so we can share that broadly. We have a website. They can find more information about YSA there as well. But getting in touch with us and letting us know what are the ways that they would like to engage would be a great first step. And from there, we can either connect them with the proper opportunity or the right students that kind of fit within their niche or within their area.
Perfect. Well, then that wraps up this wonderful, amazing experience and hearing this great information with Amanda Dempsey and Dan Ginn with Northern Kentucky's Young Scholars Academy.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today and learning a little bit more about people working cooperatively in NKU's Young Scholars Academy. Don't forget that you can still register for our FC Cincinnati Global Experience Night happening on July 27th. You can register for that now at nkychamber.com/events or nkychamber.com/FCC. Thank you once again to our podcast sponsors, CVG, C Crew Consulting, and Haran. Finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're interested in becoming a member of the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. Or if you're interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen in front of you or at our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks again for tuning into the podcast. We'll talk to you next week.